For more on this documentary, we're joined by director Dugan Bridges via Skype, all the way in the United States. Dugan, a very good morning to you. Thanks for joining us. Welcome to Morning Live. I see it's about 1 a.m. over there. Thanks for taking time. Thanks for waking up to join us this morning.
Yeah, I took a nap at about 10 p.m. so that I would be fresh for this interview, but I apologize if I'm
Geez, man, we just appreciate that you were able to wake up and chat to us this morning, and more especially because we want to know about the Upward Globility International Web Series. Why did you decide to put the spotlight on land ownership in South Africa?
Oh, that's a good question. Well, I think it goes back to, why did we do the series? And here in the United States, we've had a lot of negative news, a lot of infighting for the past 4 years, right? And so in August, we decided that we wanted to do a show that would have a positive impact, that we could show ordinary people doing extraordinary things when they are free to be innovative and creative. So when we did that, we had no idea that coronavirus was coming, or any of the riots that would be coming here in the States and protests around the world. But it just really ended up being great timing in terms of having a show that could have a positive impact and show people and to have faith in themselves and believe that they could have a positive impact on their community as well. So it just happened that I was going to be in Kenya, Nairobi for work. And so Atlas Network, who's the one producing this show, they were connected to the Free Market Foundation and the Khaya Project, knew about all these different things going on around the world. And because we were close in location, we thought, well, let's go over to South Africa. And everybody knows about apartheid around the world, and we have an international audience. But you don't really hear about what's going on to heal the scars of apartheid. And Americans and other people may not know that actually land ownership is a really big part of that.
And the first episode of the series, Whose Land Is It Anyway?, is shot in South Africa, and you presented a few title deeds to its rightful owners. So what was the reaction of most people? How do they feel?
I mean, they were elated, and excited. I think it's kind of hard to even put into words the feeling of somebody who has raised grandchildren in a house and lived in that house for over 60 years. And rented it and never owned it. And then to receive a title deed for the first time, knowing that this place is protected, that I have rights here, people were at a loss for words. Other people would just shout for excitement.
Well, the protection of property is very sacred and at the core of individual liberty and freedom. How long did it take you to plan the series, from starting from the research to working on changing the ownership? How much work went into the production, or the pre-production, as it were?
It took us only a couple of weeks, just because a lot of that homework had already been done. I personally was not familiar with the issue of what was going on in South Africa and restoring land ownership to people who had it taken away. But the Free Market Foundation is an expert in that. Several people over there have been studying it for some time and came up with the idea that this municipalities owned land that's being rented out to people in the regions, like I think Free State is one of the territories. They're the ones who had done the research and realized that for $150 they can take a title deed and give it back to the person who's renting that land.
Dugan, as a filmmaker who's worked on countless productions, what was particularly exciting about working with Upward Globility?
I would say, when you work on a lot of films, you don't always love the stuff that you work on, and a lot of times you're doing it just to take a paycheck. Whenever your work gets to merge with your values, and to know that you're getting to help other people in need, it's always a very fulfilling thing to get to do. So I really hope that word spreads about this project and the series, that it gains a global following, and that we're able to do more episodes to highlight how we can help other people around the world.
And you travel all over the world documenting this series. What other issues do you cover in the different countries, as we know that land ownership isn't such a big deal in other countries?
Yeah, that's a really good point. So the next episode, the one that we've already shot, is in a state called Tennessee, here back in the United States. And with that episode, we cover prison reform. And so we actually follow a ministry where there are women who have come out of prison, and the ministry is helping them reintegrate into society through education so that they can get a job. Because as we all know, if you've been to prison, and a lot of these people going to prison is because of drug addiction, at least in the United States.
Okay.
That for them to be able to come out of drug addiction, get a job.
Okay. All right, Dugan, great chatting to you, man, and all the best in your endeavors. We appreciate your time.
Yeah, thank you.
All right, you can go back to bed now, hey.
I will. I appreciate it. Have a good morning. Thank you all.
All right, thanks. Upward Globility is an international web series exploring ideas that show how human originality and initiative can change lives for the better. We just spoke to the director, Dugan Bridges. We'll take a coffee break. We'll have more in a moment.